We call this regular meeting to order. Call roll.
Mayor Querom.
Here.
Councilmember Newman.
Here.
Gomez.
Here.
McCransky.
Yes.
McCall. Here.
Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any public comment tonight from the public? Okay, so we'll go to the approval of minutes and Commissioner Newman.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that we approve the minutes from our regular council meeting on October 4th, 2021.
Second.
Motion's been second. Comments? Call roll. Hector did, yeah. Motion's been second, so call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCransky.
Aye.
McCall. Aye. Mayor Querom.
Aye. And we'll go to approval of invoices and City Clerk Nelson.
For this period in the accounts, in the Department of Accountants Finances, we have invoices totaling $215,436.79. In the Department of Streets and Public Improvements, we have invoices totaling $336,587.46. In the Department of Public Safety, we have invoices totaling $276,475.26. And in the Department of Public Property and Utilities, we have invoices totaling $1,312,307.87. Mayor, all council members present have confirmed their reviews of all invoices and now are submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve the invoices as presented.
Second.
Motion's been second. Call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCransky.
Aye.
McCall. Aye. Mayor Querom.
Aye. Okay, and I'll go to regular business, and we have a Knox Hotel proposal. So, Dane, I think you're listed here. Come on up. I just both your name. Make sure the mic is on.
There's a button on the top. Just make sure it turns on green. Did it work?
And then both of you just state your name. Kelsey, and both of you just state your name.
Kelsey Steyer.
And Dane Steyer.
Okay.
And as you mentioned, we're the owners of the Knox Hotel building on North Main Street. And we'd like to first of all just thank you all for being willing to hear our proposal today. We'd also like to thank Pete Nelson for all of his help over the past year, answering our questions and helping guide us to this point. And also to everybody who was able to come to our tour several weeks ago. If anybody else would like to come and see the project in person, we're more than happy to set up another time to do so. So looking back 1 year ago, we would have never expected we'd be right here right now. Renovating the Knox kind of began as this wild dream that we never thought would amount to anything, kind of impossible. But we've been really blessed to find support from so many people who have chosen to hear our vision and support what we're doing. So thanks to them, we're well on our way to renovating the second and third floors of the building.
Yeah, and the proposal we brought today, we understand is not a small request, but we do think, and hopefully you will agree, that it is a positive move for Princeton and will also have a necessary step for reopening the Knox Hotel.
So a little bit of a background in case any of you don't know. When the Knox Hotel is complete, we're going to have 13 hotel rooms along with a 100-person event space and 3 retail spaces that are currently on the first floor. Since April and over the next coming years, we're going to be investing in a few really cheap things like utilities and sprinklers and a new elevator, to name a few. But one of the big things that it's lacking is a lobby, and in its previous life as a hotel, people would check in one of the storefronts along Main Street, get their key, and go upstairs. But times have changed. That's not really how it works anymore. So this time we've been wrestling with the lobby concept. Since we started with this, where do we put the lobby? Which entrance? Is it handicap accessible? Where can the elevator go if we put it there?
We've had a lot of marital discussions about it.
Yes.
But ultimately, with working with Studio K and just discussing upon ourselves, we landed on the proposal that is before you today. Our plan includes using a smaller space on the north side of the building as the lobby, which is right now a pretty dark alley at night, and extending a canopy over a part of Long Street. So in other words, guests would stay at the hotel or who are attending an event would pull under the canopy, drop off passengers' luggage, and then go park their car.
So we feel like this comes with a number of benefits. First of all, of course, is just making that entrance handicap accessible. Right now, there's 3 or 4 steps to get up to it. We'd like to really make that handicap accessible in a way that also preserves the style of the building and adds some elegance to it. But on top of that, it also brings the street up to grade so that the sidewalk overall is more handicap accessible for anybody in that area.
Second, the canopy gives the Knox Hotel a beautiful grand entrance, and it will also highlight Princeton in the main street when driving through. People will be able to see it as they step off the Amtrak or as they drive across the tracks. The eye-catching entrance makes it immediately more appealing for tourists and travelers, and most importantly, more guests at the hotel translates into more shoppers at the businesses.
And finally, using that north entrance with the canopy just visually adds a lot to the Rotary Park and Depot area. We understand that's being prepared to go through some transformations, and we feel like this will add more attention to that area, more possibility of more foot traffic, and just overall more visual appeal for locals and tourists in the area.
And like I said before, it is not a small request. We do understand that there is some drawback. To make room, the 6 parking spaces along our building would have to be removed. However, taking away the parking on the side would free up more spaces in the street to make other adjustments. So the other side is all parallel, potentially could be angled and substitute or add on to accommodate for those lost 6 spaces.
Yeah, we would hope that there'd be some way that we could explore adding those spaces in so it's not being lost for those other businesses that rely on them for guests. We know that those 6 spaces are important for other businesses around us, so we took time to show them our plans and discuss them with them, and somewhat to our amazement, all of them have really loved the idea. And talking about it, they're excited to have a hotel there, to bring more tourists and more foot traffic, and so far the sentiment is that it's a worthwhile trade-off, especially if those spaces can be recouped somewhere else. So with that, we thank you for hearing our pitch and would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
I'm just curious on the distance from the north edge of the canopy to the curb on the north side. You know, I'm very familiar with the street and there's parallel parking over there, but I haven't done any measurements, and I assume you have. Is there room for two-way traffic, or would it have to be converted to
I don't
a
know
one-way?
exactly what the regulations are in terms of the traffic flow if that were to be done. I just know that the canopy would extend out about 22 feet from the building into the street.
But 22 feet from the wall, the north wall?
Yes.
Yeah.
To the- Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the height,
Let
can
me-
you accommodate other than cars?
So far, our plan has only been for cars, but if there's a reason to accommodate higher traffic than, or vehicles with a greater height, we'd consider that.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe, you know, those shuttle buses or something to that effect that you might have to go up a little higher.
And that's something that's kind of been in our consideration for the future of the hotel, so having enough height so that something like that could get under it would be important, yep.
What's the width of that sidewalk? Do you have that? 5.
Let's see here.
5 feet.
So you're talking about 17 feet out into the,
Mm-hmm.
so that's
Oh,
about,
correct, from the sidewalk, yes.
so that's about the length of a little longer, about a foot or so longer than the length of a car.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay. So to me, it would remain a two-way street.
And our hope, of course, is not to interrupt any traffic flow in that area, and just add something that would be very accommodating for people who would be coming to the building, and overall just added benefit for the area.
You have a timeline?
We'd be looking to do this probably late next summer to fall.
Do you have a plan B?
Not a detailed Plan B.
Okay.
We know that one way or another, we need to make that entrance handicap accessible, and the only way to do that is to make some sort of adjustment with the sidewalk, which would affect parking spaces.
But like if the canopy just came out to the edge of the sidewalk and we would maybe prohibit parking in front of the canopy, could that be a possible solution?
That would be possible. It's not ideal, but it's
No,
possible.
yes, I understand, yeah.
Yeah, because we tossed around a lot of where to put the lobby, and do you put it off Main Street? But there's no parking right there, and then if you don't make it handicap accessible on the north side, they would have to go to Main Street, go through a retail space to get to the lobby. So it is really important. That's where the lobby is going to be, to have that handicap
I'm just
access.
envisioning these canopies that I've seen in other cities where they never extend out into the street. They stop at the curb, the canopy goes over the entire sidewalk, which is great, but that's where it ends. And then they keep that space open for people to pull up to unload and so forth, but.
And that would certainly be an option, but
Yeah.
again, if there was a way to recoup those spaces elsewhere, then, we'd love to see this
Mhm.
happen.
Okay.
You're looking at it from, functionality as well as ambiance.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How do you see when the weather changes and there's a snowfall and the streets get plowed? You have that into your plans as far as how that'll?
Well, I'm sure in that scenario, we'd need to clear out a little bit extra around that so the snowplow could go around it and pick up all that snow. So we would certainly commit to making sure that gets cleared out.
That's a great question.
Mhm.
Midwest.
My brother does snow plowing, and I've helped him with some stuff, so that's a very good point.
Yeah, I think like Jerry had stated that, like even from Chicago, there's a lot of them that do come up to the sidewalks. The sidewalks are probably a little bigger,
Yeah.
but that is one of the options. And if you want to bring something back it's got an ambiance, it's traditional, and one of the best things to go through is actually going to a lobby of somebody can enjoy and think about, this is going to be a great place. But I mean, it's a nice thought and a project you guys have carried on. Obviously, I ended up going to a tour a little late, but
We're glad you came.
Mhm.
Yeah, in Chicago, they have a lot where it just covers the sidewalk. I know exactly what you're talking about, where the streets are super busy, but it is still nice.
A lot of probably 10-foot sidewalks
yeah.
in those areas too.
And the cars still get around through those things.
They do.
So you're looking to the city on direction as far as what we do with Long Street, as far as this proposal is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I know, like I said, there's a lot of considerations going on with the whole park area and everything. We're not here to request anything in terms of traffic flow. I've heard mention about having Long Street be a one-way street or different ideas. I think this plan could work with it either way. There's probably some solutions that are more ideal than others, but we feel like this is a piece of the puzzle that it doesn't necessarily affect anything else that's going on, but it's something that we don't want to overlook as those plans progress.
Frankly, it's good that you bring it to us now, because as we begin to look at the whole park renovation process, we can add this to the mix.
Yeah, and that's why we wanted to do this,
Mhm.
a year out.
Sure.
What color?
Our theme for our color scheme has been playing off of the maroon that's at the top of the building, so we would likely use something like that.
And some gold accents.
It's her decision ultimately.
Actually, she's got a good vision on that one.
Thank you.
Those colors match really well.
All right, any other comments, questions? All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much
the
for your
proposal.
time.
Yep. You don't have to stick around either if you don't want to, but. Yeah, that's right.
Might be a good idea to go to Chamberlain's hand. They haven't seen that.
No, no. No, this is the first official, so, yeah. All right, Pete?
Ready to keep going?
Yeah. let's go
Okay.
ahead.
Next on the agenda is suspension of a requirement for 2 readings for ordinance O-21-024. That's a replat of First State Bank subdivision. Mayor, all council members have reviewed this requirement, and submitted for disposition.
I move that we suspend the requirement for 2 readings of ordinance O-21-024.
I second.
Motion's been second, and this is being done because this project has to do with Scooter's Coffee.
It has to do with Scooter's Coffee. All they're really doing is simply purchasing a little less land than they originally were thinking. In order to do that, the owner, which is First State Bank, thought it best to just divide the land and maybe even make it the remainder available for another small project.
Yeah, and this is a time constraint on this as well.
A little bit of a time constraint, but also the preliminary plat for this whole subdivision is not has been dealt with in the recent past, so it's not totally a foreign situation here.
Any comments? Okay, motion has been second. Call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCransky.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Mayor Querem.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is ordinance O-21-024. This is a replat of First State Bank subdivision. Mayor, all council members have reviewed this plat and it is submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve ordinance O-21-024.
Second.
Motion's been second. Comments? Call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCransky.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Mayor Querem.
Aye. Thank you, Pete. Now I'll go to City Manager report. Teresa.
I handed to you guys a printout of the financials for August 2021. Just to go through that briefly here, on page 2, I'll have you look up at the revenues there under general fund and see where property taxes, sales tax, income tax, and other revenue are falling within that 40% to 50% range, which is actually a very good picture given that we're only about 4 months in. So we're a little bit ahead on some of the revenue. And I'll get into that in a little bit more detail here as we go through. The other page we like to look at, and I didn't flag it, so I'm going to try to, page 8, the sales tax revenue. August was reported again, which would be a couple months lag. So still higher than you'll see what we had last year. We're seeing a significant bump up there. Hotel motel, there's always a little bit of a lag in what's reported for the month that's showing on here because there's still some money coming in the next month. So I expect to see that orange line for 2021 there in August to bump a little bit more like it did the previous month. So that will go up. We're averaging, I didn't give you the printout of this, but I went back and looked at the hotel motel because I like to give that to Jenica at the chamber as well. We're averaging about $10,000 a month. So that's typically what I budget. So we're right on track with that too. Maybe we'll be even better. I don't know. We may see a bump the last few months. So you have your totals for your BUCOM calls, fire department, and your police if you want to take a peek at those. But I'm going to direct you to a page that I added to this. It'd be the second from the back. I believe you have it. It should be the grand totals by fiscal year. This is one typically the mayor and I will look at just to see where we're falling for the fiscal year compared to the previous fiscal years. I want to look at the video gaming just really stood out to me because we've already passed. Within 4 months, we've passed what we did last year. So we're already looking at 112,000 being brought in on gaming. Also down on the cannabis, which is another one we tend to forget about because we don't have a facility here, but we are still capturing the tax from the state. We are almost about where we were last year for a total. We're already at that point within 4 months. So at about $5,700 collected for that. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's still something that's coming in that we tend to kind of forget that that's coming in. The one thing I do want to point out that I've noticed too, actually go up to the 1% share sales tax. We're already halfway to where we were for the total of last year's. So that's a huge significance. But I do notice on the state use tax, it's not bad. I think we're still going to be okay, but it's not at the gaining the pace that we saw last year. And in the state use is actually that Wayfair tax where it's capturing the online sales. So I think what's happening now is people are shopping in the stores and maybe the online might be dipping a little bit, but it's still, the pace that we're seeing is very positive, and I just want to make sure you guys see that within 4 months we're doing almost where we were, halfway what we did last year at this point. So the last page, just for your own info as well, the 0.25% for the public infrastructure tax. This is what we have for the total going back to July of 2019. So you can kind of see how this tallies up. For this year, you're going back to May 21 to July 21, we're averaging about 35,000 a month now. If you go up to the top, I would say you're averaging closer to 20, this is in 2019, around 24, 23,000 a month. So you can see how much that has grown. Last year, I typically was budgeting about 30,000 a month. So we've already gained, we're seeing about 5,000 more per month. So that's a huge benefit for Quint with some of the projects that are going on. And it certainly comes in handy with some of those projects that we're seeing. Any questions on that stuff?
I would just say that on the sales tax, this is accounting for 8 months. And every month this year, we have done better than any month of the previous 3 years. So, and all that helps obviously at the last page, the 0.25% sales tax for infrastructure. That's going up, and the more that goes up, the more money we can put into streets. And so shop Princeton first.
You also have in your packets, in your council packets, are your police pension, fire pension reports for August of 2021. And then on the last, I think it's actually the last section of your packet, is a proposal from Chamlin. I'm going to go back to the last meeting. I gave a quick overview of a grant that we're looking at applying for, we are going to apply for the Rebuild Illinois Downtown Main Streets Grant Program. And this actually goes back to what you were talking about with the depot parking lot area. This kind of jumped a little bit quicker than maybe we anticipated. I know Tom's been putting a lot of work into this too, but this grant opportunity came up and it's just too good of a fit to not look at it seriously and put an application in. So working with Chamlin on, we have to have some preliminary engineering and all of that put together, and that everybody knows that can be quite a task in itself. It's not required for the grant, but it just puts you one step ahead.
Sure.
And at this point, I think even where Tom's committee has been working and going forward, this stuff has to get done anyways. So I think it's just something we need to get that jump start, have them start working on this so we're ready to go. It's a project we know we want to do, so we just need to move forward with it. So obviously this is going to not just include the design of the streets and stuff, but it's also all the underground work that's going to have to happen. So what they're looking at doing is, I should say, Chamlin is estimating right now at a 2.8 million for the project. We can go up to 3 million for the grant. So and I will probably be coming to you guys with a suggestion of what the city can put in for some match money as well. This is for the project. By the front door, as you came in the building, you'll see the I guess you'll call it the photo of what the rendering of what this project hopefully will look like. So take a peek at that if you want to. If you haven't already, I'm sure everybody's probably seen it. On the page with the estimate of fees, I just want to point out real quick, the total design, I guess we'll call it the design total will be a little over 88,000. Dean did pull out the concept development, public involvement, and the construction observation not to exceed 8%. Those are flexible, and we have a little bit more control over how much public involvement we need Chamlin to be involved in. Is this something I know Tom's committee has been heavily involved? Maybe we don't need as much of that. So he pulled that out. We'll just focus on the 88,000 for now. Seems like a lot, but I think we'll stretch it. He's they're in agreement. Some of this won't be done until next fiscal year anyways, so we'll stretch it between the 2 fiscal years and just we'll have to figure out a way to make an amendment for this year's. But if you have any questions on this, there's a lot to happen very quickly.
When's the application due?
The application is actually due January 10th. we will be submitting before Christmas.
Great.
Just to make sure everything's in. I have been sending out letters to the Chamber, Rotary, some of the various businesses on requesting letters of support for the project, because we have to have significant community support in terms of how COVID hit the community, how this project can help with historical preservation, how it can help with the downtown businesses and minority-owned businesses. So, Dane, I should get you actually a copy of that so you could submit as well. So, get the word out there. We need support for the project, and we've actually met with Amtrak as well, and hopefully they'll be submitting a very nice letter. They were very excited about it too. So, cross your fingers. It's gonna be a lot of work, but it'd be great if it happened. That might make things a lot easier.
I'm assuming, Teresa, that the more details and the more preparation that you can present to this committee, they see our seriousness
Yeah.
to follow through on this
Yep.
project.
Anything we can make Princeton stand out. There's
Sure.
only 50 million total being
Is
divvied
available,
out. So
okay.
So when do we pay the 88?
as they start to work on it, they submit bills every month. So it's kind of a gradual as they're putting time in.
When is the grant, when will we learn if we've been awarded?
Well, if submittal is January 10th, what they're saying, and I say that lightly because some of the other grant programs have been a significant delay, we would know within 90 days. So that would put us to spring,
Yeah.
which would be able to potentially start summer, fall. So
Okay.
it does speed things up quite a bit.
All right. Any other questions, comments?
I'm not done though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
No, on that subject, yeah.
On the topic of road construction, street construction, just to give everybody an update, because I know we've been getting some phone calls today on Park Avenue. I confirmed with Quint that there will be total closure of that section of Park Avenue from 7 till 5, Monday through Fridays. But it'll be open on the weekends, hopefully done by next Tuesday, which is unbelievable, but maybe sooner.
Where Park Avenue's closed?
West.
By
West.
Park
West,
Tavern.
Park Avenue West, right in front of Park
for the
Tavern.
Green
Storm
Cross.
store, yep.
Yeah.
And then also, I just want to say thank you. We had our electronics recycling event on Saturday, and we had some great volunteers step up and pitch in. And it went very smooth this year. It went very quick this year. But Quint, do you want to give a couple updates? You got some interesting data from the event already.
I too also want to thank all the volunteers, Chief Tom, Chief Chuck, I believe, was there, Janet Henning, her daughter. Awesome. I wasn't able to make it. I had a prior engagement, so.
He was fishing.
I wasn't fishing. I was in class. But, no, it sounded like it went really well. And I don't think the people in this community are buying TVs and computers because there was only 8 ton this year compared to, let me look. I got an email from Kevin North. I just opened it probably an hour ago. And he had some stats, some information on here. So we started this with Republic back in 2018. We had 18.7 tons at that time of electronic recycling. And then 19, we postponed it because of COVID.
Okay.
And then last year we had 14 tons. This year we had 8 tons. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going
So
on.
all those tube
That's-
TVs are finally getting out of the basements, huh?
Yeah,
And those are
big,
heavy.
things, so. And then he, let's see if there's anything else you guys should be aware of. Not really. The recycling does go to a QSES.
I said to say that with confidence.
I said it pretty good earlier. Kusasaki Recycling in Peoria. They'll process all the boxes that they recycle. How many boxes were there? Roll-offs? Was it
Were there
only 2?
7 or 8, maybe 7 or
Oh,
8,
that
but
were
they weren't
full?
nearly full
Oh,
at
okay.
all. Not like last year where they were worried about the tarp fitting over top of it.
Yeah.
So
So it's
yeah.
a good thing, and I appreciate your help, and
Yeah.
Pete,
Goes smooth.
were you there, Pete?
Yes, I was.
Mhm.
Thank you. So, and then while I'm up here, may I ask Mr. Steyer a question? I'm with the,
I'll allow it, you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
or should I was just wondering, are we gonna keep the bricks under that? Were you gonna keep the bricks, or were you gonna excavate that and pour concrete and then put the post in concrete?
The, I think the idea with what we have is to use, concrete to bring that up to level, up to grade with everything.
Okay.
And, to ensure, you know, we don't have any issues with that area, but we'd love the street to remain brick and keep
Right,
that all in great shape.
but underneath that would be concrete, you're thinking?
Yes,
And
I
maybe a
think
little
so.
bit further out?
Just about to the edge of where the canopy would go. Yep.
Okay. And would you think about putting radiant heat under there? Because what we do when we plow, we windrow everything from the south to the north, and with that awning there, it's just gonna be a little tough, really.
We would consider doing that, yeah.
Okay. And then one other thing I'd like to, while I'm here, we are tub grinding the brush pit right now. We've been at it for 4 days. Granted, there's been a couple breakdowns, so it hasn't been the full 8 hours. We did get 1 7-hour day in last Friday, continuously running, and there's probably 2 more days of doing this. What we're finding is just a lot of garbage, and the bad thing about that is this company will not take it, so we're stuck with manhandling tons and tons and tons of mulch. And a couple of years from now, we probably have a spontaneous combustion fire like we have had in the past. So we need to get the word out that, you know, I think a lot of the garbage is coming from the yard bags, the biodegradable yard bags. They kind of put, we're seeing garbage in those with grass clippings and brush on top of that, so we don't really know. And I really don't think the guys should be emptying out every bag to look, but we're probably going to have to start doing that just so we can get this company to take the mulch off our hands. And another good thing about that is they won't charge us because they're going to use it for, you know, they'll repurpose it for mulch, topsoil. So we need to get that word out.
Well, if that,
That's a brush pit. It's not a garbage.
yeah,
No,
if
no.
that continues, they're gonna lose it.
So,
That's the bottom line.
yeah.
Do those cameras work on the, are there cameras on the building there?
No, there is over at the drop-off here in town, but not out at the pit, which is down below from the transfer.
And that's where you're seeing the garbage.
Yes, well, we're seeing it at both places.
You're playing, because they're taking it from there and they're taking
Yeah,
it down
we're
there.
seeing it from both places.
Cameras aren't gonna do you any good if you can't see inside those bags
Right.
anyway.
Right. Although there was a baby crib
Oh,
and some buckets that Ron just pulled out last week, so I have to go back and kind of go back. I'll be able to tell who dumped that. So just, they're listening.
Yeah, they'll be fined.
So,
Yeah,
okay.
if you identify them.
So thank you.
Okay, excellent.
3 hours seemed to be enough for the recycling. There were people were in and out of there quickly.
Yeah, I almost think we could probably shorten it. No, yeah.
Yeah, see that.
Mhm.
We're finally catching up.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Under Mayor report, I just got 2 things. Reminder, the free registry of chickens closes on November 18th, so that's a month, 4 weeks away. This is a complaint-driven ordinance, so come November 19th, we've only had 3 people register in the last 4 weeks. And we know there's a lot more out there that have chickens. And come November 19th, those who do not register, we're not going around and knocking on doors and driving down alleys. This will be a complaint-driven ordinance, but we get a complaint and we go out after November 19th, there will be no warnings given. You will be fined right off the bat. So just want to make sure everybody understands that. And then we have a board appointment.
I move that we appoint Terry Madsen to the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners for a 3-year term ending July 31st, 2024.
Second.
Motion's been second. Comments? Call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCransky.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Mayor Querem.
Aye. Any old business tonight? Any new business? Public comment? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn and reconvene.
I move that we adjourn our regular meeting this evening and reconvene again on Monday, November 1st, 2021, 7 o'clock at City Hall.
Second.
Motion's been second. Call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
McCransky.
Aye.
Mayor Querem.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for attending.